Alright, so this first question says, how could you use alternative tools to build a website for your classroom? Now I know that like for KSU we've had to use Weebly, but since we have Canvas already, I almost think I don't need a different website, but looking at like the website, the Weebly and Wiki and all those that they gave us, thinking about like how to make my Canvas page more like a website.
Yeah.
As opposed to building a different website and attaching that, especially since we did online this last semester, letting like the kids have figured out how to use Canvas, even my kids who've not ever used really Canvas before. And so I think it's really thinking about how to make Canvas more like a website, or using more of the tools of Canvas.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because, and our parents already are familiar with Canvas. They're observers, you know, and it's already a universal thing that they're doing in math, they're doing in chemistry. So I feel like it's almost kind of counterproductive to, like what you said, take that and build it within it. It's something they already know.
And well, and since we had to go online, there's so many parts of Canvas that I never bothered to explore or knew existed. And so now Canvas is almost like a website that you could build into it if you go through all those tabs on the side that are normally grayed out because I don't use them, and start incorporating all of them. And I think even online, face-to-face, whatever we end up doing with our school in August, I'm going to show Canvas, like, here's all the tools you need to use, here's how you get to all of them.
Here's how to navigate through
it. As opposed to normally just assuming my kids know how to use Canvas, because if I had a website, I'd be like, hey, here's our classroom website, here's how you get to all this stuff. But I think instead of assuming my kids know how to use Canvas, treat it as if it's a brand new website they've never seen.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, here's our classroom website, here's what you need to know.
That's great. And then the learning activities that we could use, kind of what you talked about, like I actually, while we were on digital learning, I learned how to embed Edpuzzle, which I had never used, but I was able to embed it so that even kids that didn't know how to use Edpuzzle, there wasn't a learning curve. They literally went onto the link, it popped it up for them. I was able to give feedback and it go right into the grade book, so that was really helpful. That even like what you said, if I'm not online or I am online, I want to incorporate that.
Well, and now that I know how to like operate Canvas and do that better, I now feel like I have time to go look at the other free resources that it gave, and like the what's his name, Richard Byrne and Biggie Dares, how they have resources. Now that I kind of have a stronger concept of how to use Canvas, I can go find those other things because now I know how to embed them. And I know how to use them in even if they're not built in, I know how to get them to be built in. So the kids I don't end up with, I don't know how to get there. But I can make it smoother for the kids. So we actually have time to learn the resources and use the resources than spend half the time technology working.
And I found that kids are more willing and more engaged in that tool if they're not having to learn how to use the tool. And you're just looking at the content with that. So yeah, that's a really good point. So we kind of talked about the class website and just using Canvas, but finding ways to enhance it. And for new ideas, like that's kind of how I feel as well. Not necessarily, you know, using Weebly and then linking it to Canvas, but using Canvas as well. And you know, even throughout this whole digital learning thing, I was able, you know, for Color Guard, even extracurricular, using Canvas to communicate to parents and students. I've even done discussions with them that I'd never done before, which I thought was kind of neat. Uploading assignments, videos, things like that.
Well, and I know when we were talking about the guest speakers, or when we watched the guest speakers videos, the one that was focused on math, since I teach math, a lot of his things were cool, and like I can now go back and look through because a lot of them aligned with my standards and my content. So I can use those and incorporate those into my lessons, face-to-face, online, whatever it is. My kids can use those because either way it's going to be through their computers, in a sense they'll have that. So face-to-face, online, it's going to end up being blended learning anyway.
Yeah, that's really good. And the last thing I was thinking about though is doing is if we do start out the course all online, or you know, if you were to just do an online class, I do like how within the website, whether it's Canvas or whatever, you embed that, you know, get to know you, the teacher, whatever video. I think it makes it more like you're still getting that face-to-face, you know, interaction, but it's still giving them, hey, here's my teacher, here's what, you know, they're about, kind of thing.
Yeah, using some of the learning activities, like let the kids interact in learning activities, because in the classroom they interact in learning activities. So try to build those into, if we go back online, make them interactive online as well.
That's what I want to work on, because that's what I missed when we were forced to go online. That was the downfall to it. I felt like I didn't have that student interaction.
So in online learning, it's got to make sure that's a component. It's not just me on my computer, the kids on their computer, each individual student never communicating with each other.
Right, absolutely.